Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your product.
Sure. So
because I think it's amazing. But
yeah, thanks. So what we're offering is basically freedom to our students, kind of give them the opportunity to see themselves in a different light that they may have not conventionally seen themselves. So I guess the conventional path is you go to school and you learn your certain subjects, and then you go on to the real world and kind of realize the real world might be a little different than what has been explained. So yeah, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. And so we manage, right? So we kind of learn from our friends, from our family, from our colleagues, and we just do what our friends are doing, and we get by. We scrape a few shekels from a job here, from a job there, and then eventually we come to a
if
plateau.
you can find a job in this economy after you graduate college.
I'm assuming, you know, some positivity here. You know, you can find something. You can find something, and eventually you come to a realization at some point in your life, like, how do I get the next step? Like, what tools can I be given? And that's kind of where I stepped in, where I was having the same sort of week, same sort of month, same sort of lifestyle. And where I'd come into work maybe 5 minutes before my boss, and I would just, you know, pull the right strings and make it look good in meetings and make myself look good at my work and try to get better. But at the end of the day, year after year, I would see slow progress, or I have to shift jobs to kind of get the position I wanted. And after a few years, I kind of realized there's got to be a better way. So I stumbled upon the 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, who, if anyone knows, anyone that follows you kind of understands his work. He kind of just reverse engineers his life to what doesn't seem to work, and kind of placates or figure out what works. And basically that's the way he's engineered his life. And I kind of really took to that. And then I read another book, and then I was actually going to school at the time. I went to get an MBA. I was thinking, well, that obviously would progress my career. And then started learning that, you know, through Rich Dad, Poor Dad, through all these self-help development books, that I was learning more from these books than it was through institutionalized learning. And that just didn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even in classes, we discussed how, you know, there's a lot of old school mindset thinking of how things are taught, where it's just lecture-based classes. And I was like, well, I'm looking around, because like I have experience. I'm getting an MBA, but some of these kids are like 22, 23 years old. They've never had a job, and they're learning stuff about pricing bonds, and they're learning stuff about this. And I'm like, this is not going to help them get a job. Like, the employer's going to go out there, and they're not going to ask you, hey, can you price this bond for me? They're going to ask you, hey, what's your relevant skill set? What's your experience? You know, if I put you in a situation, how would you figure this out? And what are they going to tell them? Hey, I did great on this test. Like, we want to give them a set of skills and identify areas in this modern world that, you know, this skill set is useful. Problem solving, research, understanding emotional intelligence, understanding other people's feelings, just understanding your own awareness, like what your weaknesses are, what you need to work on, what your passion is, how can you work on that, and just kind of reverse engineer it. It's simple, but it's not really well done yet that I've seen, and I'd like to build that out with like-minded individuals that can contribute and kind of, I don't know, kind of help drill this home, you know, get it across the finish line.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I mean, unfortunately, those are just not skills that we like learn once we graduate. I mean, I have a master's degree, and there was a lot of things that I didn't know coming out of it.
Right.
That I had to learn through personal development, and not everybody necessarily does that, but you know, that's what happens. So what sets you apart from your competition?
So how I kind of think of this as, and I was kind of building this out is, and literally I was sitting in class, literally writing notes just because I couldn't stop. My ideas were flowing, and this guy was lecturing, and I had no interest in what he had to say. We want to make this completely entertainment-packed education, right? So if content now is not, you know, catchy, if it's not, you know, everyone's fighting for your attention online and social media, if it doesn't catch your eye, people aren't going to watch it. So what kind of service are we giving if it's just, hey, this is good information, but it's boring, it's monotone, it's doesn't speak to you, right? We want something that's going to speak to you. It's going to be relatable. It's going to be something that you can put into practice right away, because the skills itself, the information's good, but if you don't apply it, like, how are you really going to see how it fits? You got to kind of play with the information we give you. So first and foremost, it has to be entertaining. And then from there are basically general skill sets that can be utilized across several jobs. So I've had at least 3 jobs in my corporate experience, and a lot of, communication, problem solving, being able to reverse engineer things, to work with people and come up with new solutions is something that is pretty important, pretty vital. If we can teach those basics and then kind of teach people to fish for themselves, I think we're onto something. And then over time, just build out the content library, invite new teachers to come in, kind of show us what, either in the health space or other spaces, what they're doing that's working out, that an adult in this modern area should know. I think that's pretty huge. Like, I think that'll go a long way. And I think this skill set that's relevant now in an age where, like, AI is coming in and it's being applied to technology and cars and this and that, but not education. Like you've got to figure that out. Like,
there's something wrong with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like